said when we were talking earlier that sometimes you prefer a personal ad to describe yourself.
Remember personal ads? Remember newspapers? So I had this really crazy friend, and he just comes up with these goofy things. And one of them, we're sitting there watching football one day, and he goes, "All right, here's the personal ads." And it's like, yeah. And he goes, "You've got to be 100% honest." I'm like, okay. And he goes, "What's yours?" And I said, "All right, I got this. All right. Short, bald, half-neutered, chemoed, radiated, surgically repaired, retired male figure skater of unknown ethnic origin seeks a beautiful, intelligent woman for long walks, laughter, and an interest in my hobby for collecting life-threatening illnesses." And I got to take her. It's like insane.
So, you know, truth does work, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, you know, it's, where do you go from there?
Right. Yeah. Let's pull a little of that personal ad apart a little bit, kind of walk through it. I mean, going all the way back to the start, according to the video, it looked like you were about 2 years old when you got your first only a short time to live diagnosis.
Well, I looked to because I stopped growing for several years.
Fair enough.
So, you know, I was really young, and I always like to tell people, you know that counter in your kitchen that your kids run under all the time, and you just know that one of these days they're going to grow just enough and they're going to bash their head on the counter? That didn't happen to me. They just kept going under the counter. And they realized, you know, being an adopted child, they had no idea of, you know, height or weight or anything else. And so, but it's when I started showing signs of stress that they thought, uh-oh, we've got a problem. And so I spent about 4 years going in and out of hospitals, long stays, endless tests. I got a lot of really odd memories of that time, and they just tried to figure out what was going on, and it was never really diagnosed. My last stay was at the Boston Children's Hospital, which is kind of it. You know, it's the last stop. And they put me through all these tests, and they said, "We can't find anything. We know something's wrong. We can't figure out what it is." So our recommendation is to go home, live your days, and just enjoy joyfully whatever time you have left. And it was there that our family doctor intervened and told my parents, well, you need a morning off. You're shattered and exhausted after this 4-year ordeal. And so you need to get rid of Scott for a morning every week just to recharge your batteries. And so they sent me to a brand new facility at Bowling Green State University. It was an ice rink. And so skating there, yeah, Bowling Green! I say Zumba, Zumba, Zumba. You know, you're really from Bowling Green. So I started skating, and it just became this thing where the more I skated, the more my health improved.
So literally, if they had just had a bowling alley, you would have been a bowl. It truly is because that was what the new facility was?
Well, I mean, I don't know if bowling really would have worked. You know, I think it was a lot of things. It was engaging the small muscles and building skill over a period of time. It was also the cool, damp air in the rink that kind of helped my lung condition.
But nobody knew that at the time, right?
No, it was just sort of, you know, throw me on the ice and let me do whatever just to give my parents a morning off. And when they started seeing that, you know, my health turned around, all of a sudden it was like, well, guess what? You're a skater. I was like, okay, I like it. I can do this. I just wasn't very good.
I was going to say, is that true? You really weren't? I mean, this is not something that you necessarily had a natural gift for, obviously.
Well, I was okay. Like, I tell people, if you're a girl in skating, which is 90% of the population, and you medal, you're really good. If you're a boy and you don't medal, that's humiliating. You should be able to beat at least 2 guys, right? So I was okay locally, regionally, you know, which made my mom really proud. And then when I get into like sectional area, well, I was a little not as good. And I get to the national level, and I'd be a disaster. So, you know, it's like, how many people out there, how many of you guys have failed? Woo! Exactly. There's nothing better for success than failure. It's such a great teacher. And so for me, I just, I didn't know how to train. I didn't know how to compete well. Again, I get to the national level. My first nationals was in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you remember Janet Lynn, she was easily the most popular woman athlete in the world. And on her pursuit for her 5th and final national title, they put my event right before hers. So there was a sold out standing room only, 17,500 plus. And I'm this little novice guy who grew up in a town of 15,000, skated in a town of 2,000, so I'm already looking at more people than I've ever seen accumulating my entire life, all in one place, and I rose to the occasion. I rose 5 times from my rear end. I fell 5 times, and I came in dead last. And that was kind of the story for a very long time. And then my mother was diagnosed with cancer. She gave me 1 year left in skating. I kind of thought, well, we had a coaching switch and he had a whip. Man, that guy was really disciplined. And I trained a little differently that year. I was kind of like, okay, I'm all in. I'll show up on time, do all those things. And I ended up winning the junior national title for no reason. I mean, no one was expecting that. And I caught the eye of a coach and a sponsor, and then where my mom said, I'm diagnosed with cancer and you've got no time left, all of a sudden that turned into now I'm sponsored and I had a second life in skating.
So when you fell 5 times and came in last, why didn't you decide that maybe skating isn't for me? Like a lot of people when faced with that kind of adversity go, all right, I get it, not for me. Instead, you got up and then won the title the next year.
Well, no, it was 3 years later. I was last, and then I was next to last, and then I was second to last.
Well, you were making progress.
No, yeah, I was beating like one more guy each year. So the year that I won, it was like, what? Did everybody pull out of the competition? How did that happen? But, it was one of those things where, man, it was just, I was a skater. And it gave me health. It gave me, like, my first taste of self-esteem when you leave hospitals and you kind of show up at the rink and all of a sudden, wow, I get to be with well kids and I can skate as well as the best athletes in my grade. It's like, I want more of this. This is like great no matter what happened. I got teased so mercilessly for being a figure skater early on that I just laid down and go, I'm not going to figure skate anymore unless you let me play hockey too. And so I just had to end all the teasing. It was a very small town, and so I played hockey. And it was very funny. The very first hockey jersey I had was a Bruins jersey, and the smallest one they had came down to here because I was so little, and it was hard to skate when I was wearing a dress. And the ironic thing was I won over the respect and appreciation from my peers wearing a dress than when I figure skated and skated better than all of them. So it's a strange world we live in.
Indeed it is. Lots of twists and turns. So that sort of is the backdrop, maybe things that people didn't realize about your childhood, and then all of a sudden we get to that part of your life where people of my age think we know the story, right? It was the national championship, it was the Lake Placid Olympics where you carried the flag.
That's a story.
So tell them.
Okay, so I'm the third guy on a 3-man team. I have no chance to medal. And I'm sitting in the Athletes Village watching a movie, and our team captains pull me out of the movie. And all they said was, oh, you've really done it this time. It's like, what? What did I do? I'm just watching a movie. And they go, no, you've really done it this time. So I'm freaking out. I'm thinking I'm going to get thrown out of the Olympics. But all I've done is like be on time, and I've done everything right. And I go, well, what happened? What's going on? And they go, you're carrying the flag in the opening ceremonies. Why? I mean, why? And they pitched it to the other captains of the other sports, and they basically wanted the struggle to represent the athletes. I lost my mother to cancer, and my coaching changes, and coming in dead last, and finding my way onto the team, and and it was just this. They think, well, we want that to represent. The problem was that there's never been a male Olympic athlete my size. When I went in for the parade uniform fitting, what size shoes do you take? A size 6. 7.5 okay? Sure. So then it's like they give me my bib, right? The crotch came down to here. So I got, so I'm pulling it up and I'm tying it, and then my sleeves of my jacket went down to here. I looked like I had huge shoulders. But then my mittens were down to here, and I'm like carrying the flag and going to ceremonies. And then they do this really crazy thing where they give me a cowboy hat, because if you're an American Olympian, you gotta wear a cowboy hat, right? So the cowboy hat was coming down over my eyes. Now I'm the flag bearer. I'm the first one. Like if I weren't the flag bearer, I could have hid inside all the other athletes. But I'm like trying to keep my hat from coming down over my eyes. And all I kept thinking when I'm coming into the stadium is, they're going to think that the only reason I'm carrying the flag is because I have a condition. But that Olympics was phenomenal. The U.S. Olympic hockey team won the gold medal. Eric Heiden won every single race, and that'll never be done again. And Lake Placid, New York, if you've never been there, it truly was, and it will never happen again. It was like basically called the last Mayberry Olympics, because you had the local minister was the head of the local organizing committee, the fire chief was in charge of transportation, the librarian was in charge. Everybody in town just sort of rolled up their sleeves and put on Olympics. And after that, it got to be bigger business, bigger cities, bigger production, everything else. But Lake Placid was phenomenal.
Then 4 years later, Sarajevo.
Well, what happened right after that was I get up for breakfast, after that season was over and I was ranked 5th in the world. And I'm having breakfast. And I realize all at once that I'm 5th in the world. Okay? The gold medalist, Robin Cousins, turns professional. Jan Hoffman, the silver medalist, goes to medical school. East German, and he'll turn professional. Third guy was Charlie Tickner, bronze medalist, turned professional. All I had to do was wake up, and I'm ranked 2nd in the world. That's a great cup of coffee, right? So I just started, I go, what do I got to do? And I hated compulsory figures. I hated them. But it was around that time that I started to grow up a little bit, and I realized that the greatest strength is a lack of weakness. Where are my weaknesses? What do I need to do to chip away at this thing so I can be competitive, all the time? And so I hated compulsory figures, and I said, well, you know what? That's my weakness. I got to figure out a way to do this better, and I just went all in. First one on the ice, last one off, on time, run-throughs every single day of my free skating performances. And I ended up, from that October of 80, all the way through March of 84, I never lost a competition. And, and I don't say that, don't take that wrong. I'm not like, I'm a short, bald guy. Right? But the thing is the person that did it before me did it before I was born.
Wow.
And no one has done it since, because it's really hard. And, the more I grow up and the more I, kind of become wise, the more I realize that, just how much the Lord played a hand in all of that, just to keep me grounded, keep me aware, and keep me on time. And when things could have gone left, they went right. And there's a lot of skaters that were doing things that I couldn't dream of, but they had a hard time pulling that off in competition. So I stayed in my lane. I did programs that I knew I could do under pressure, and I just found a way to, kind of string together a really good 4 years.
You say that with great modesty. When you look back on it, like you say, you have this different perspective. When you were in that moment, or in those moments, that run, did you know? Did you know in the moment how special it was? What's the perspective?
Well, it comes down to the naysayers, right? Because everybody tells us stuff we can't do. So the coach that kind of saved my skating career out of that junior championship, he lost interest in me the 3 years leading up to that Olympics, and so it broke my heart. But I had to leave because he was now taking on my role, my arch rivals, and he was doing a lot. He lost interest. So I went to Philadelphia to take from another coach, and then it was like every year he'd tell me, he's never going to win another one. He's never going to win another one. And it was like, really? And then, by the time I got to my second defense of the world title, I'm kind of looking around going, well, if I don't win this thing, one of these guys is going to win it. I'm already beating them. It's not like somebody's going to come out of nowhere and just go, ta-da, here I am. There's two guys named Brian coming up behind me, but they don't. Orser was really good in '84. Boitano was phenomenal, but still kind of growing. And so I knew after '84 that I'd never be able to beat those guys, so it's time to turn pro. Let's become an entertainer.
And literally that is, that is sort of the path for skaters, although as you point out in 1984, it was maybe a pretty normal path for female figure skaters.
Yeah, there was no market for male skaters at that time. When I finally figured out a way to negotiate in good faith with Ice Capades. Do you remember Ice Capades?
Yeah.
Right? So I get into Ice Capades, and I go to meet the president of Ice Capades. He was a man I met on several occasions, and I really respected him. And he just sat down, and he said, let me just tell you one thing. And I go, what? Hit me. And he had this couch, right, that everybody warned me about in his office, that it was understuffed. So when you sat down on the couch, all of a sudden you're like this, and he was up here, and it was this power move thing. So when I went to sit in his office, I sat on the arm of the chair. But he just looked at me and he said, you Olympians are all the same. And he goes, and let me just tell you, if it weren't for the fact that you won the Olympic gold medal, you're too short to be in the chorus line. So that was my welcome to the company. And then he told me that the Olympians are all the same. All of a sudden you start to party and you miss shows and you're injured and it's embarrassing for the company and everybody does this. And it's like, no. I got through this period because I like the work and I really like being on time and I like being successful. So I'm going to be the best employee you've ever had. And he said, right. I go, no, take this to the bank. For the next 2 years of my contract, I will never miss a show and I will never miss a press opportunity to promote this entity. And he goes, right. And so what turned out is instead of doing a 33-week tour, which is the whole year, I did a 20-week tour because I wanted to be able to keep my skating up, be rested, be 100%. So what happened was in a lot of my weeks off, other star performers would get injured and I'd sub for them. Yeah. So at the end of my 2 years, President Ice Capades came in and he said, congratulations, nobody's ever done it as well as you have. I go, well, thank you, sir. I was really excited that 2 years went as well as it did. Third-year option, waiting for it. And he goes, but as you know, we're going through a sale, right? And I go, yeah, I can't wait to meet the new owner. And he goes, well, he's not that excited to meet you. And I go, why? And he goes, because he's old school. He only wants to present female stars. So I lost my job with the ice.
No one in this room has ever lost their job when new owners are taking it.
Well, no, I can tell you this.
No one can relate.
No, but I lost it because I was a guy. Sexual discrimination in the workplace is wrong. So I met with my agent, who was like the greatest guy in the world, and he said, what do you want to do? And I go, well, I'm kind of open to just about anything. He goes, you want to start a show? I go, let me check my calendar. Yes. And so we started a show called Stars on Ice. Now here's the definition of passive aggression. Has anyone ever seen the Stars on Ice show? Yeah? Anyone? Great. Has anyone, thank you, that's great, you're putting my kids through school. So, has anyone seen Ice Capades lately?
No.
Anyone? Ice Capades? Oh, that's right. They went out of business. I guess they didn't have enough men to sell tickets for.
But again, you make that seem so simple and so natural. I lost my job because new owners took over, so I started a new show. Like, what prepared you to be an entrepreneur, show creator? Why did you make that choice?
It's called desperation. I had no other choice. It was, somebody gave me an opportunity, and it's just like the Olympics. It opens a door about that much. You've got a little credibility in the marketplace. You've got this record, but you've got to figure out a way to get all the way in, get through the door. And the same thing when Capades sort of said, we're done with you, it was kind of like, oh man, I really enjoyed myself doing that, that tour, and I learned so much. I just paid attention. I go, what does it take So you got the crew, you've got the sound, you got lights, you got this, oh, you're going to that now. That's right. I just paid attention. So when I got the opportunity to put a show together, it was like, wow, I know what I'm doing. I know what lighting rig I want. I know what sound I want. I know where I want to put everybody. And we put together this show, which is all Olympic and world champion skaters. So we had this all-star show, and it was very theatrical, and we kind of built it kind of authentically. What have you always wanted to do that you've never been able to do before? And they go, well, I've always wanted to do this. And I said, then let's do that. So the audience got it right away. Our first show was in Bangor, Maine, and we actually set the building on fire.
Literally.
It wasn't our fault. They put a 100 amp wire and a 300 amp beam directly to the transformer without a breaker in there. Oh. So we hit the finale lights and it went pow! And everybody thought it was fireworks. And I'm like looking up in the stands going, sir, your wife's hair is on fire. And so we had a lot of fire marshals after that. It was the building that kind of did it because they never did a show like ours before. So
well, there'd never been a show like yours before.
No. So we just kept growing and building. And we got, on that first tour, we got to New Jersey, and the building forgot to hire a crew. So our kind of permanent crew called up and said, we can't do the show tonight because we're exhausted. We've done 4 cities in 4 days, and we've had no help, no crew, no nothing. And we just don't see any way of getting the show up. And so I jumped in a cab, I went straight to the building, I got a pair of gloves, and I started loading trucks.
Glamorous.
No, I started loading trucks. I said, you know what, I'm with you guys, I understand, I get it, I'll do anything to make sure this show succeeds. And I did that all those years, it was just, every year we got a little bigger. We went from 84 to 88, it was kind of like me and Ross Sumner's, and there was a lot of really great skaters on that. And then in 88, we got Debbie Thomas and Brian Orser and a couple others. And then in 91, we got Gordy Van Grinkoff. And then in 92, the world changed for us. We were a 30-city tour. We started off, it was just me and Dorothy Hamill as the headliners. And by the time we got to 92, we were starting to almost show a profit. IMG was a great owner, and they did a really nice thing staying with us. But 92, we signed Christy Yamaguchi. That's all she wanted to do was us. And Paul Wiley came on board, and then Katarina Witt came on board a little bit because she had her own tour. And so it just turned into this thing where now all of Skating was Royalty wanted to come and join us. So over the years, we had Katarina Witt and Christy Yamaguchi, Roz Sumners, we had Gordy Van Grinkoff, Torvald Dean, my word. We had all these superstars that just wanted to be better entertainers and skaters than they've ever been before. And so they came to us, and our big pitch was, do you want to be an appreciating asset or a depreciating asset? Because if you come with us and you build this show, you're going to be worth a lot more next year than you were this year, and you can just continue to grow as an artist, as a performer, and it's up and up and up and up and up. And it was phenomenal just to see everybody come in with their best stuff. And I learned so much from the other skaters, and I was inspired by them, and it was my job to kind of lead the tour, so quietly, behind the scenes, I was kind of working with management and crew and everything else just to make sure that everybody was happy and set and right, just to make sure everybody was kumbaya and the show went on exactly how it should be. And we always, developed a chemistry on Stars and Ice so that the product that went on the ice was absolutely legit to how much we loved each other as friends and as skaters and admired each other and promoted each other. And you did not want to be the GOAT on that tour. You didn't want to be the weak one. So that raised everybody's game each year, and they got better and better. And we were able to do things production-wise that were beyond anything that I ever dreamed possible.
Hearing you describe that, I'm sure there are a lot of people here who, at one point in their career, have had that moment or those moments where great talent came together and challenged and inspired, and that chemistry happened. And those are really special things. You write about in your book, one of your themes is make losses your wins. And it seems like what you just described is your real life version of making a loss a win.
And that's what's crazy is all we have control over is us, right? We don't have control over whether they're going to show up one day and they're going to say, we only want redheads this year. Goodbye. Or, you know, we just, you know, there's this other skater that we want, we're going to bring them in, goodbye. Or, you know, there's all these things that can happen at any time. And, you know, what I've learned is that that's fine. That's good. If that's what you want, that's terrific. And I'm just going to keep my eyes out there. I'm going to keep my integrity intact, and I'm not going to be bitter about anything, and I'm just going to passive-aggressive every now and then. But I'm just going to keep looking ahead. And whatever the knockdown is, I'm a skater. You know, skaters fall down all the time. And you know what they do after they fall down? They get up. And so much, when you repeat that so many times, it's all of a sudden now you kind of get that whole concept of get up. Yeah, you just got knocked down, you just got broadsided, you just got hurt. Get up and make the most of the next thing, you know, because there's so many more blessings and opportunities in get up than there is in staying down.
As I hear you talk, and especially as you were describing showing up and realizing that they didn't hire a crew, and you put on the gloves and went and did it, and you sort of referenced throughout there how you were kind of quietly behind the scenes doing some of the work that made things successful. Servant leadership is a phrase
Nothing better.
that I think you embody. I mean, you describe it as win by going last, but when I hear you say that, that's what I hear you talking about. So explain.
Well,
you say nothing better. Why?
You know, it's just a culture. You create a culture. Your energy, whatever. The energy you bring to the workplace and to the marketplace is contagious, right? If it's good, that's good. If it's bad, then that's bad. You know, but what we try to do with Stars and Ice is, and I learned this from this old stilt skater. He used to be on Sonny Henny's tour, and he skated in these stilt skates that were, you know, like this high off the ground, and it was really a crazy thing. But he was this guy, Fritz Diesel, and he was an amazing guy. And we were sitting down, and he goes, "Can I give you some career advice?" I said, "Absolutely, Fritz. There's nobody in this sport I admire as much as you." And he said, "Be a number 2." I was like, "Be a number 2? What does that mean?" And he goes, "It means that number 1s come and go. They got to revolve that marquee, and stars have to come in. They got to sell the new star. But as long as you can position yourself as a number 2, presenting, you can skate as long as you want in the sport." And it's true. As long as you position yourself to serve others and to be, you know, something that wants to make everybody around you look good, feel good, and perform at their best, then all of a sudden it's like there's the atmosphere. If I said no. I'm the star of the show.
I built this, I own this, I'm the star.
Me. And it just turns into something where everybody goes, "You don't want to go there. He's such a totalitarian jerk. You know, we don't want to do that." So, you know, for Stars, for all those years, I'd peek through the curtain and watch Gordy Evan Grignoff skate every night. I'd run around front to see Paul Wiley do JFK. I'd sneak over to the side on the other side and watch Christy Yamaguchi do her end of first half performance. And I learned so much just by watching all these people. I saw Christy Yamaguchi. She did, at the end of the first half, she always closed the first half, and she'd always come with something Olympic. Like, it was amazing skating. She would do 4 triples in it, and it was just like amazing competitive level skating every night. And I saw her one night, and she fell so hard on the first jump of her program. She came down. Now, when you land on toe edge, that's really good. If you land on your heel, it's a hinge. She fell so hard on her rear end that I thought it was one of those brain rattlers, you know? It's like, oh man, she's gonna be stunned. And you know what she did? She got up and she went, and she went right back to her program, and I go, wait, I think she just fell. And I realized that what I was witnessing was a life lesson. She's on the ice for 4 minutes. She had 1 second of perfection. So is she gonna allow the other 3 minutes and 59 seconds to be less because of 1 second of failure? And it's like, that's life. We're gonna get knocked down, right? We're gonna get disappointed, we're gonna get hurt, we're gonna get fired, we're gonna get all these things in our lives, we're gonna fail. But if you give all the importance in your life to that one failure, you'll never get past it. You know what I mean? So when I saw that, I was like, I want to be just like that. I'm going to be Christy Yamaguchi, like, fan for life. And I've always been a huge fan of Christy's, and she's always been the one to support. We support each other's charities unconditionally, and I learned that because too many times as a broadcaster, I'll see somebody make a mistake in their competitive program, and the second they end, they go, oh. It's like, don't remind me. I wanted to forget all about them. And now you just reminded all the judges who may have forgotten that you wiped out. That's the importance you put on that failure. And it's like, no, it was just, we all fail. We all fall down. We all mess up. It's just how to get past it. And Christy went. It was awesome.
It's a remarkable lesson that you learned, and you seem to have been tested with more than your fair share of knockdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, a few. So I was on a bus one time in an airport, and I get on the bus and I look, and Art Linkletter was on the same shuttle bus as me. And growing up, I was a gigantic fan of Kid City Artist things and everything. And so I went up and I said, I just want to introduce myself. I'm Scott, and I'm a huge fan. He goes, I know you. You're that skater, right? And I go, yes, sir. And I was like, wow. This is so cool. I'm like Forrest Gump. It's like he recognized me. And I'm like a fan, and I've known him since I was a little kid, and it just seems so surreal. And he goes, you have endured a lot. Loss of a parent, cancer, growing bald publicly. And I go, yes, sir. I had no idea that losing my hair was a disability.
Hey, don't look at me.
No. I'm built for speed now. I can't now. But I was like, it was funny how perspective, and what other people's perspectives were. And I kind of, again, I learned, trying to learn from everything. But 11 years into Stars on Ice, I couldn't stand up straight anymore. And it was one of those things where if you're a skater, that isn't good. So I 50 cities into a 60-city tour where I was in a lot of pain, especially for the last 10 shows. I went in Peoria, Illinois, and St. Francis Medical Center emergency room. I met an incredible doctor, and he just put me through all kinds of tests. Then he put me through again just to make sure. And 7 hours of being in this emergency room later, he came to me and he goes, we found a mass. And I kind of started laughing, and he goes, what's so funny? And I go, well, no one has ever used the word mass in description of me before. So I'm kind of like, he goes, no, you need to understand that this is either benign, malignant, or something else. And so, 20 years, almost to the day that I lost my mother to cancer, I'm now being diagnosed with cancer. And the fear was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. Any cancer survivors in the audience? You're a warrior. Did you have that fear?
No, I didn't fear. I learned from it.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
Yeah, for me it was the fear, and then it flipped all of a sudden. I don't even know if it was a nanosecond or what, and it just became this sense of you got work to do. I'm going to do this right. I'm going to do it no matter what it takes. I'm going to get this thing behind me, and and it's a sense of power. It's an awakening in a way. For me it was, and it's really amazing. So I went in thinking I had an ulcer. I get diagnosed with cancer, and I walk out game on. This is something I got to knock out, and it's amazing how you just you don't go like this with cancer. You kind of lean in. You go, we're going to take care of this, and I'm going to get back to my life. It's a really powerful feeling. So did the show that night, and it was really an amazing and powerful experience. And then the next day I went to the Cleveland Clinic, and they did a biopsy, and the day after that we started planning on chemotherapy and the surgery. But it was very funny when they told me, they go, it's doctors are like this. They carry clipboards in their right hand, head tilted at a 15-degree angle, left arm swing, one eyebrow up with an all-knowing look. And they came and they sat down, and there was 4 of them. And they were sitting in a little, it was almost presentational. And I was like, who's this important? Not me. And they go, we found the source of your problems, right? So I go, what's going on? They go, you have a stage 3 germ cell tumor, testicular in its origin, and I go, whoa. I go, I have that cancer. And they go, you have testicular cancer. I go, no. And they said, no, this is good. If you had to choose a cancer, this is a really good one. Who would choose a cancer? So I went through, I was like, no, I can't have that cancer. No, I can't have it. And they go, well, no, why? What's wrong? This is 80-90% curable. And it's like, because I'm a public person right at the peak of my career, and like 75% of my audience are female, and these are my guys, and I can't really, it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to do the Today Show. Okay, I'll talk to Matt about this, but not Katie, because, you need to take this thing seriously, and it's like, no, I don't. And then I remembered my mom going through her cancer, and it was, my mom, she was the center of my universe. 4x4, and just the most lovable lady you've ever met in your life. And she was beloved in my community. And she'd say, oh, this chemotherapy, I finally found a way to lose this weight. And then she'd say, oh, this chemotherapy is fantastic. I've always wanted to quit smoking, and now I have no desire. Oh, this chemotherapy is phenomenal. My hair all fell out. I hated my hair. These wigs are incredibly easy. And then every now and then at the dinner table, all of a sudden her prosthetic breast would pop out and be eaten like hot potato. And I go, that's who I want to be. I want to be her. I want to be like that. And so no one was allowed in my room unless they made me laugh. And it was this thing where my nurse caught on really quickly, and she would decorate my chemo bags with Snoopy stickers, Mylar. I had SpongeBob and Scooby-Doo Band-Aids. I had banana popsicles in my little freezer in my room. And she treated me like an 8-year-old. And it was awesome. Until round 3, and then I just felt like I just wanted to die. Because I just didn't know. You get to a certain point, and the cancer gets desperate. At times, you look at cancer like it's a sentient being, like it has a mind, and it's very insidious, and it's very evil. And then you look at it, it's like, well, it's going to be talking to you the whole time, saying, you want to quit now, you want to quit. Because you're not who you were before. You were on tour and doing all this stuff and being really, blah, blah, blah. And now you're sick and alone at home and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, whoa, I want to quit, I want to stop, I don't care if I die. And all of a sudden, you need your friends around you, because I have a really good friend, Steven, and he looked at me and he goes, how many rounds you got left? 1. I can do that. So you hit the end of your chemo with your chest out, like you're running a marathon, and I had the surgery 6 weeks later, and it was a 38 staple surgery. Am I long enough for a 38 staple surgery? It was kind of like filet of dwarf, right? So they go in, they open up everything, and my urologist has seen parts of me I never want to see. But after that, I was cancer-free and just get right back to life. And in the meantime, take what I've learned and try to make the cancer community a little stronger, deeper, better than it was before.
And that was the Scott Hamilton Cares initiative.
Yeah, the initiative was 16 years, and I went to the Cleveland Clinic. We raised a lot of money, did a lot of research, created chemocare.com, Fourth Angel Mentoring Program, and I asked them, I said, I want to take this brand and I want to take it into the market to see if we can really be, because I can see, like when I went through my cancer, the cancer community has gaps, and it's got holes that need to be filled, and it's not going to happen, directly by the healthcare industry, because they have their own axe to grind and they have their own things. But if you can fill in around them and make it a smoother path for the next patient going through cancer, then yes, then it's you're actually able to change something for the better as a citizen, as a survivor. And so the CARES platform is now an independent foundation. So we're a 17-year-old startup. Because everything's staying in Cleveland, and we're an alliance partner, and we're still working on how that works and feels. But as an independent foundation, we've got plans, and we've got desires, and we've got the ability to reach a lot of people, and so we really truly want to make the cancer community stronger, better, deeper, broader, for the next person faced with cancer, and that's our goal and our mission.
As I hear you talk, you have this uncanny ability to be in something and simultaneously observe things that then you can adapt and adopt and improve upon, whether it was what you saw in Ice Capades and made Stars on Ice different and better, to going through chemotherapy and what you observed about being a patient you wanted to change for other patients. Where does that come from? Where does that ability?
You know, when you're a little guy and you're like endlessly watching people put their hand on the stove, it's like, I don't have to do that. That's not something I really want to do. And growing up in the sport and, you know, watching people train this way or train that way or put, you know, make mistakes, or I learned to be aware of what was going on around me, because it's like, he made the mistake I don't have to make. He had the attitude I don't have to have. You know, she definitely took a walk down the wrong path, and so I would just pay attention, because at that point I really didn't have anything else going on because I was so bad. You know, I couldn't look at everybody else and say, I want to learn. And, you know, it wasn't like I was killing it. You know, I wasn't winning a lot of competitions. I was losing a lot. And so I just became aware. And it was really interesting that you asked the question that way, because when I was going through chemo, I wasn't scared. I was fascinated. I was like, what's this going to feel like? You know, how, you know, I see all these, you know, amazing, beautiful, bald women in the shopping stores. It's like, wow, there's a warrior right there. And I go, that's a show of strength and power, and I want to learn from these people, and I want to know what that's like. And when you survive, there's that whole survivor's guilt that comes along with it. Like, why was I able to survive? My mom didn't. It doesn't seem fair. But there's a reason that I got work to do, and the Lord wants me around for whatever reason, and I'm going to try to figure that out. I'm going to keep moving forward and do the best I can in the community.
Whether it's this curiosity you have, whether it's this work ethic you have, you describe that if you sort of just build these muscles, you never know the next application that they're going to have, right? Like, you're not doing it purposely for the next thing, yet doing it somehow makes you ready for the next thing.
It makes you stronger. You know, in any setback, I got dumped so many times by these girls. One of them said to me, like, we went out once, and I go, you're not picking up when I call. And she goes, well, I get tired of things easily. And it was like, okay, ouch. And then, you know, each relationship that ends is like, whatever. And then I realized that all that was training for when I met the right one. It was like, you're not going out of my sight. It's not like restraining with a weird thing. I'm going to do everything I can to make this work. And sure enough, you know, I met Tracy, and you know, we're 4 children into this thing, and she's the best person I know. And yeah, it's, you know, it's marriage, so I'm always screwing up, but you know, I'm a work in progress, and I'm trying to learn.
Talk about the role of being a dad. You said to me, there's no participation medals in the Hamilton household.
No, that's a big mistake. Participation trophies are a big mistake. Because, you know, it's like... See, that's the kind of affirmation. I'm writing a book, actually, about that. It's about what happened to our will to win. What is that? It's like it's been replaced by, I just show up and do it. You know, honestly, there's something about, we're all designed for something. We're all, you know, we hope to find our purpose. We hope to find, but in the meantime, do it as well as it can be done. And without losing, you have no idea what you're capable of. None. If I never would have had the run that I had I not been a habitual loser before, because I was clueless. But I was interested. I became kind of like, well, what works and what doesn't? And then all of a sudden it gelled, but without those humiliations, and without those setbacks and losses and all that, I wouldn't have been strong enough to be able to endure a winning streak. I would have just been saying, well, that's a destination.
I mean, you really make it sound like we should almost look at those setbacks as a gift.
Badges of honor. Absolutely. If I would have made it to nationals my first year in novice, I never would have switched to the coach that I needed to be with in order to make it to the national championships, and that's why I'm going to get on a soapbox, and don't judge me too much. But, you know, there's 25 skaters at the national championships now. 25 in the championship events. That's not right. I mean, if you don't hold your national championship to a certain level of ability, and if you don't challenge people to get there, it waters everything down, and then nobody's any good because they don't know how to compete. They don't know how to do the things they need to do to get to that promised land. And if the promised land is everybody, if you go 11-0 on your flag football team and they give everybody the same trophy, that kills it. I mean, it really does. Without that carrot for that victory, you're never going to dig deep, and you're never going to ask yourself to do something that, you know, takes that kind of commitment. And once you learn to have that kind of commitment, everything else is possible.
I think I probably was supposed to have stopped a little while ago, giving people a chance to
Oh, no,
ask
they're
a
bored.
question.
No, it's all right.
Before we wrap up, questions that anybody has about what you've heard, about the lessons that, you know, Scott has sort of opened up to us, and it's easy to see how they apply to what we do.
Anyone? Bueller?
Question.
Yes.
You commented on opportunity opens a door just that much. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Because I'm going to steal this for my sales meeting tomorrow.
Oh, okay, sure, yeah. I mean, hopefully I'll say something that makes sense now. When you win the Olympics, all right, and there's life after the Olympics, right? It's a little bit of an opportunity to be able to step into the marketplace and really grow, right? The Olympic gold medal isn't a destination, it's a jumping off point to the next thing. So when I look at the door being open just a crack, it's like, how do I break through and how do I get there? And a lot of it is just paying attention and being willing to go that next step. There were 45 Olympic gold medals won from the United States in Rio Olympics. Can you name 25% of them? Exactly. It's an opportunity. It's just a door that's open this much. When I won, my medal lived in my underwear drawer in a paper bag for 6 years. I never wanted to look at it. Because it was like I'd get stuck in that moment. And I knew that that moment was a stepping off point, a launching pad for what's next. And as long as I hung on to it and I worshipped it and I looked at it as like, oh, like, anybody want to see it? No, it just becomes, and now you're stuck and you can't launch, you can't do anything else. So I couldn't wait to get rid of it. And I found the perfect way to do it, and that was when the United States Figure Skating Association, I qualified to be in the Hall of Fame. I said, do you want all my stuff? And they go, sure. Because I never saw an Olympic gold medal until I won one. So I gave them everything, and man, I felt so much lighter. I just felt freer to be able to go and do the next thing because I wasn't hanging on to the past. When kids win the novice level, nationals, a lot of them you never see again because they looked at that as the destination. And so I was glad that I came in last. When I go to nationals now to do broadcasting, I look for the kid that came in last. And he's always in the corner going, go, come here! You're my guy. You won. It's okay. Come here. I'm the best, this guy. Because it truly is. Everything is the next. It's an opportunity to improve. It's an opportunity to get better. And you're able to leverage those things, but it's only open this much because when you think about how many people have done this and what do they do with it? Do they, hang it on the wall and create like a monument or a shrine? Or did they move on and get past it? Like, I can't go to do one of these things without being introduced as an Olympic gold medalist, and that's fine. It's part of. I'm also a cancer survivor. I'm also a 5'4" short bald guy. So it's all good. It's all part of who I am, but it doesn't define me. It's what's next, and what I do in the cancer community, what I do to raise my children. I'm always looking forward. I never want to look back.
But that's not necessarily normal, right? Like you surely could, we won't ask you to name them, but you surely could name a number of fellow Olympic gold medalists who saw it as the destination, who didn't see it as just the door slightly ajar, right?
Oh yeah, I've been with Olympians who put down a credit card that expired and they said, we can't accept this. They go, don't you know who I am?
Literally, you're not lying. You've seen that happen.
I've seen that happen. So, it's about two things that happened to me when I came back from Sarajevo, because I came back chest out, strutting my stuff, thinking, yeah. And I learned right off the bat, because one of the first things that happened was the governor of Colorado. I lived downtown Denver, and right at the other end of the street was the state capitol. And he said, "Can you come in to my office?" And I said, "I'd be honored." So I went into the office, and it was just me and him. And I was looking around, going, "Well, what's happening here?" Normally, it's like a jacket and tie. Thought it was going to be a press opportunity, it was a politician shaking hands. And he goes, "No, I just want to talk to you because I've seen you grow up in this community, and my wife met you at the celebration." And I go, "I just want to share one thing, and that's this. There's this thing called the hometown hero syndrome, where you're the captain and the quarterback of the football team at the state championships, and you throw the long bomb at the end of the game that wins the state championship, and they carry you off the field on their shoulders. And if you hang on to that moment, that's as good as your life is ever going to be." He goes, "I want you to enjoy, I want you to love every minute of this, but I want you to know in your heart and in your mind that this too shall pass. This it has a shelf life, and then there's the next guy. I don't want to rain in your parade, but there's the next guy." The next thing I did was I spoke at the Paralympics banquet that was 3 weeks after my Olympic gold. So I'm walking in, and I'm stunned with the gold medalist. I'm still kind of hear Governor Lamb in my ear, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing every description of human being with every possible disability who won the Olympics in a way that I never could. And I honestly, it just pulled all the air out of the balloon. It was like, these are the heroes. I'm nothing. I did this on a whole body, and they're going down a mountain 75 miles an hour on one leg with one arm. These guys are playing hockey without legs at all. It's like, I can't do that. And so now, when the next Olympic gold medalist in men's figure skating is like, "How far do you go back?" I go, first I ask him, I go, "How big a deal is it that you won?" They go, "Oh, huge deal, huge." And I go, "How far do you go back? How many Olympic gold medalist men do you remember?" And they go back about 4 Olympics. And then I ask him, I go, "Who won the Olympic gold medal in men's figure skating in 1964? I don't know. His name was Manfred Schnelldorfer." That's an easy name to remember. I mean, of all of them. And I how long are you going to be remembered? Let's just keep things on the ground and just keep looking forward and be the best you can be. And a lot of them don't want to hear that. But I did for the governor of Colorado, just allow that moment to be what it is, appreciate it, move on. Because you get stuck. You get stuck, you're stuck. And you just gotta understand that this opportunity leads to the next, and the next, and the next. And if you stop here, you'll never know what you're capable of doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you join me in saying a huge thank you for coming?
So as part of my collection of life-threatening illness, I have this brain tumor. Is it like bright enough so you can see it? It's right there. Anyway, I just want to share this with you because it's so crazy. So I was born with it. That's what kept me from growing all those years. It showed up when I retired from skating. It showed up. So first one was radiation. Second one was surgery. Didn't go as planned. And now it's back.
Oh.
Do I look worried? No. When they told me it was back, all I heard in my mind was, "Get strong. Get strong." And I'll tell that to each and every one of you in this room. If you're ever faced with anything, whether it be physical, emotional, loss of a job, relationship, get strong. Get as strong as you can possibly be. Because when I went back to get this thing scanned, all they do is get big and they create havoc in your brain. When I went back to get this thing scanned, it shrunk. No, they don't shrink. When I asked my neurosurgeon, I go, how does this happen? And he said, God. He said, God. There's no other explanation because these don't. These just grow. So I want you all to know that the impossible is possible. And that every single person in this room has the ability to change their world and the world around them. And I pray that every one of you take advantage of that and just do it. Never look back, only look ahead, and get strong. God bless you.
That was so good. Let's see if we can take pictures.